Hello, this is meteorologist Brad Warner from Region Weather Live, your YouTube source for weather across the Dakotas and Minnesota. We're going to take a look at what's going on here over the next day or so here, just to kind of wrap up our weekend. And then we're going to take a look at this big storm that's going to be brewing into next week. So let's go ahead and get right into it, folks. Here's that storm system that's digging out and moving to the northeast that caused all that severe weather down across portions of the south, across Texas and Oklahoma yesterday, and now has brought some severe weather across Wisconsin and into Michigan and Illinois as well. But that's bringing some rain out into eastern parts of Minnesota, possibly some snow later today across the northeast, and we'll show you that in a bit. And here's our next little system as we take a look at the upper level portion of it that's going to be zipping eastward over the remainder of today, Saturday, and going into Sunday. Now, as this continues along, it's going to continue to bring showers from the west to the east across North Dakota, northern parts of Minnesota, but also along with it, notice the westerly winds. This is all the way up at 10,000 feet, and we have winds out of the west, and the winds are going to be west all the way down to the surface as well. So when they're coupled like that, when they're all going the same direction, that means there's going to be strong winds. So we're going to be watching the strong winds as they're going to be pushing from west to east overnight here Saturday night and continue into tomorrow. And then as we continue on, here is that next system that is going to be diving down and entering the southwestern parts of the United States, that it's going to be affecting our weather by the middle of next week. And so as we go through the remainder of Saturday, we've got the storm system that continues to lift out of the south. And eventually this rain is going to move into the far northeastern part of Minnesota, mainly into Cook County, and affect areas around Grand Marais, Grand Portage, and some of those areas as it kind of gets into the late afternoon and into the evening hours. Could see some snow accumulation along with that right along the North Shore. So don't be surprised yet if some of you guys up in Grand Portage could see some snow yet as we get into the evening hours. As we kind of back this up a little bit and take a look at this next system, this other storm that's moving from west to east, we're going to continue to see rain push eastward, as well as the strong winds behind it that's going to be filling in, the strong westerly winds that we're going to be expecting. And then as we get into the evening hours and things kind of cool off, you might see some snow showers start to mix in with some of the rain, especially across the northeastern parts of North Dakota, northwestern Minnesota through the overnight hours. Now notice that rain and that scattered activity continues to kind of slide through Minnesota through the overnight. Some light snow across the north. And then just another blast of wind and a little bit of a reinforcement of cold air as we get into the early parts of Sunday morning. And I wouldn't be surprised once again, as I said a few days ago, that on the backside, once the system kind of starts to leave, that we see some snow across the northern portions of North Dakota and Minnesota. Nothing that's really going to accumulate, but Sunday's really not going to be that great of a day. We're going to be having some strong west winds. I'll probably see some off and on scattered snow showers throughout the day. But like I said, I don't really expect anything to accumulate except for possibly in the far northern parts of Minnesota. And if we take a look at the potential snowfall map, even in those far northern areas, I mean, it looks like maybe a half inch at most could accumulate, and probably most of that's going to be on the grassy areas. So whatever does fall throughout the day on Sunday, not going to be too much of an issue. It's just not going to be a very nice day. All right, then we get into Sunday night and Monday, and watch how the first part of this system begins to lift out of South Dakota, bringing snow and maybe even some rain into southwestern parts of South Dakota, but probably some snow along the higher elevations of the Black Hills. But then certainly once it makes it further north and taps into some of that colder air, it begins to snow. And essentially what is causing this actually is a warm front that is going to be moving northward throughout the day. So there's going to be this overrunning over the top of this warmer air that's trying to move northward, and it's actually going to be creating the snowfall. So as it does so, as that warm front continues to move north through the day on Monday, we're going to be seeing some snow move from south to north, kind of starting in northern parts of South Dakota mainly, but then running through North Dakota throughout the day on Monday. Now, some of this could actually accumulate as this band of snowfall moves from south to north, and because it is a warm front, sometimes those have the potential of seeing just these small little ribbons, these small bands of heavier snowfalls associated with them that could reduce visibilities for a brief period of time. It could be interesting Monday for some localized areas as this moves from south to north throughout the day, throughout the morning and afternoon hours on Monday. And then, of course, we're looking at the potential for some accumulations along with it as well. And so as we take a look at the North American model and how this spreads the snow throughout the day on Monday, and as we get kind of into the evening hours, by the evening hours, that snowfall has moved into the up into Canada. But look at this, we're looking at the potential at least of 4 inches of snow kind of around that Williston-Stanley area up in the northwestern parts of North Dakota. And then 1 to 2 inches across, most areas across north of I-94. And then as you get kind of up in the northeastern parts of North Dakota as well. So this first band of snow, could bring anywhere from, 1 to 4 inches of snow. It just depends where. And of course, some of that could vary a little bit too. But right now, this looks like where we have the best chance for seeing some snowfall throughout the day on Monday. All right, so now we get into Wednesday and Thursday. And now we're kind of getting out there just a little bit. There becomes more uncertainty still at this point. But I think what we can say for sure is we're going to have plenty of warm air surging northward out ahead of this big system. And that's going to create areas of rain and thunderstorms, mainly across South Dakota and southern parts of Minnesota's probably got the best chance for seeing the rain and some thunderstorms. Some of that could carry northward into North Dakota as well and northern parts of Minnesota. But like I said, I think those areas have the best. Along with that, as it stands right now, again, this is out there. This could all change. But as it stands right now, there's the potential, at least for Thursday, that maybe some areas across eastern South Dakota, southern parts of Minnesota could actually get some severe weather out of this as this system pulls out and in through the northern plains. It becomes one of those classic Colorado lows where you've got all this moisture coming up out of the south and wrapping around the backside of the system. So you've got this rain out ahead of it. And then, of course, you're going to have this area of transition somewhere in between where you're looking at maybe some sleet, maybe some freezing rain. And then, of course, you've got the ugliness back on the backside of this where you're going to be looking at snow somewhere across the western, maybe central parts of the Dakotas as you get through the day on Thursday. And then as you get into Thursday night and into Friday, that system begins to wrap up more and more cold air gets entrenched in there and more snowfall becomes more widespread. So again, very preliminary as to where all this is going to happen. But man, this is looking like an interesting system, folks. So I've just been kind of showing you the European model just to kind of give you a rough idea of what to expect out of this. But we're going to take a look at a couple of other models around Thursday at noon just to give you an idea of the difference. So I still have the European up there. Here is the Canadian model. Look how different that is. That at this point, it's got it way out to the northeast and moving into Ontario at this point. But it does have the rain out ahead of this and then the snow filtering in on the backside as well. And then the American GFS model, actually a little bit closer to the European as we kind of flip back and forth. The European's a little bit further west and the American GFS model is a little bit further to the east. So if the GFS model timing would work out a little bit better, probably wouldn't have as good a chance for severe weather just because, you're trying to tap into that warm afternoon air, or it wouldn't be as widespread, but still the same type of thing. You're looking at rain, thunderstorms out ahead of this, snow on the backside of this, some heavier snow across the eastern parts of the Dakotas. Here are the other models showing it further back to the west. So that's what I mean, guys. We've got a big system coming out. We're probably going to be looking at some rain, some thunder, some snow, maybe some mix in there. Where exactly is still very much in the air. This could shift, north, south, east, west as the time moves along. So we'll have to keep an eye out for it and see how everything continues to develop. And it looks like once that system finally reaches the west coast, more getting into Tuesday, we'll probably start to have a better feel exactly how this is going to turn out. All right, so there was a lot to go over. We've got to get these storm systems out of here for the remainder of the weekend. We've got this big one that's going to be digging out in the west coast that's going to be affecting our area by the middle part of this coming week here that we got to keep an eye on. It looks like rain, snow, maybe some freezing rain. It's just a matter of where this is actually going to land. So we're going to keep on top of it. And as the updates come out, I'll make sure to let you know as the latest models come out. So make sure you hit the subscribe button down below, hit the little bell button as well. That way you know when I've uploaded a video, because as the updates come out, as I said, I'll make sure to upload the videos and you'll know the latest on what is going on. So, and also you'll be notified when I'm on live, because I expect to be on live as this snowstorm gets cranked up later this week, and I'll have road conditions and all that kind of fun stuff out there. So you're going to want to keep updated with that as well. The other thing is, make sure you hit the like button down there, because that helps this channel get recognized by YouTube, and more people can find it, and that way they can stay safe as well. And you want people to stay safe, don't you? Of course you do. So just hit the like button down below, and that would be great, and that would help me out. All right, for Region Weather Live, I'm meteorologist Brad Warner. Everybody have a good day.